Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nuzatuhanis binti Kasim alias Mansur. I will explain about methanol water distillation. Methanol water distillation is a very common and important separation system and also the most studied unit in the term of control. A distillation column is used to separate the methanol water mixture into its components by the applications and removal of heat. It consumes a huge amount of energy in both heating and cooling operations. Purified methanol is produced by distilling a water methanol mixture in a first column from which is a taken product methanol system at an upper level. Weakly aqueous methanol as a side stream and water as bottom streams, and a second column in which that weakly aqueous methanol is separated into an overhead product stream and aqueous methanol bottoms. The first column may be preceded by a preliminary volatile removal column. Thank you.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Aimil Fiza bin Jamil Sulong, and I will explain about the factors that enhance the distillation process. Okay, the distillation process is chosen for the separation of methanol water mixture due to several factors, such as their phase, which is liquid, and obvious difference between those two components boiling point. For a successful distillation process to occur, a good distillation column must be used, since a good distillation process is characterized by the performance of the distillation column. There are several factors that might affect the performance of distillation column, which is the first one is feed conditions. The state of the feed mixture and feed composition affects the operating lines, thus affecting the number of stages required. The column may no longer be able to handle the separation if deviations is excessive. The second one is reflux conditions. When the reflux ratio is increased, the more volatile components are being recycled back into the column. Separation then becomes better and thus fewer trays are needed. The third one is column diameter. If the column diameter is not sized properly, the column will not perform well. Then the desired separation might not be achieved. And the last one is weather conditions. The changing weather conditions can affect the column operation. Thus, the reboiler must suitably sized to guarantee that enough vapor can be generated during cold and windy weather. The same applies to condensers.
Hello, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Barafis bin Jafar. I will explaining about the preparation of the material. Material and equipment that will have contact during distillation of methanol water must be compatible with methanol. Mild steel is usually selected as the construction material. Tank that built with copper alloys, zinc, including galvanized steel, aluminium or plastic are not suitable for methanol water solution. But for storage, plastics can be used for short-term storage and not recommended for long-term storage due to deterioration of freeze and contamination. The storage containers and transfer system must be designed according to appropriate engineering standard and comply with all requirements required. Normally, the storage will welded properly. It should have secondary containment such as dikes or bunds to reduce fire risk and prevent any large spills of methanol in the storage. Methanol should be stored in a cool, shady place. The drum of methanol should be grounded. The drum should be kept out of the rain. Water will seep in past the pump and contaminate the methanol, thus will affect the purity of methanol. If the methanol is suspect to the water, test for methanol purity is required. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Arifin bin Zakirun and I will be explaining about the process description. So, what is distillation? Distillation is a process of separating liquid mixture through selective evaporation and condensation. This process exploits the differences in volatility of the mixtures. In this mini project, a methanol water mixture is to be separated by using distillation column. Since methanol has lower boiling point than water, it vaporizes and leaves the column as the top product and water as the bottom product. So, let's move to this video for the technical part of this process. The column is fed with 0.35 mol% methanol at 250 kilomole per hour. The desired purity for the top product is set at 0.96 mol% methanol and bottom product at 0.02 mol% methanol. By solving the balances in the column, the flow rate of distillate is 87.77 kilomole per hour and the flow rate of the bottom product is 162.23 kilomole per hour. Next, the number of stages is also determined by using the micet method. By using reflux ratio of 1, the number of stages in this column is 10, excluding the reboiler. Since the purity of the distillate is high, a large number of stages is needed to perform the separation process with small r value.
Assalamualaikum, I'm Muhammad Taufik bin Haji Muhammad Nasir. Here I will be explaining about the process of the top and bottom in a distillation column. At the top part is known as the rectifying section and the bottom part is known as the stripping section. In the rectifying section, the liquid mixture is separated based on its component of the mixture into vapor and liquid phases. As for the stripping section, the light components are being removed from the heavy stream. In this case, the methanol, which has a lower boiling point than the water. The light material vaporizes and become the top product, whereas the heavier material are purified and become the bottom product. So this is how the rectifying and stripping section of a distillation column looks like. Now, this is a simplified look inside of a distillation column of its feeding section. As you can see, the top part with Vn and Ln are the rectifying and the Vm and Lm are the stripping part. Through some calculation, we were able to determine the amount of the Vn, Ln, Vm and Lm. The Ln is 87.77 kilomole per hour. As for the Vn, the amount was 175.54 kilomole per hour. Next is the Lm, which is 337.7 kilomole per hour. And lastly, the Vm is 175.54 kilomole per hour.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Imam bin Alias and I will talk about the conclusion section. The objective of this project is to study the distillation process of methanol and water mixture. Since methanol and water have very obvious distinct in boiling point, so it is suitable to use distillation process as the separation process method. The content of methanol obtained at the top section is 96 mol percentage and 2 mol percentage at the bottom section. Apart from that, the flow rate for all sections was calculated with the value given at the feed section is 250 kilomole per hour. The flow rate obtained at the top section is 87.77 kmol per hour and 162.23 kmol per hour at the bottom section. It is essential to calculate the flow rate in order for us to estimate the operating cost of the distillation column. After that, a micet tail graph was plotted from the data obtained. From the graph, it has been identified that the number of stages required is 10, excluding reboiler, with the use of reflux ratio of 1.